Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we are going to dig a little bit more into the scene of Kimmy and Maurice on the last episode of Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 9, Episode 4.
I said when we did the review this past weekend that today that we was going to, look more in depth in that scene because I think everybody was so focused on melody this episode that we left a lot of meat on the bone with this Maurice and Kimmy scene. So I asked my wife to rewatch the scene and to take the notes again of the scene alone. So she gonna do us a favor. She's gonna go through the scene uninterrupted. I'm not gonna say nothing the whole time.
Okay.
Right? I promise. I'm not gonna say nothing the whole time. But I want you to read the notes of what happened in this scene, Blair, so we can get an in-depth look, word for word, bar for bar, what happened in this scene between Kimmy and Maurice. You ready?
Yes.
Walk us through this, please, Blair.
The first person Maurice called was Kimmy. She was worried. She said it's natural to be worried after not being able to get in touch with someone for a certain amount of time. Her being a nurse, her first thought was the hospital. He said that they just went through a lot with her health scare. His job is to make her life easier and lighter. However, this predicament, he had to lean on her. They ask if she has Maurice's back no matter what. She says, and they don't show us a response if there was a response. Maurice doesn't answer their question, or at least we don't see the answer, if he has gotten any backlash from Kimmy. She asks how he's doing, and he asks how she's doing. She says, I'm asking you. This is not a tit for tat. He says the hardest thing was making a phone call to her. He knows that she is his life partner, but that's not a phone call that he wanted to make. The worry she has to go through is not what he wanted to put her through. Kimmy says that she went through the timeline in her head. According to her timeline, he would have been ready to go to bed. She thought he went to work and fell asleep at work. When he wasn't at the office, she wasn't sure where he was, and it was a very weird situation. She worries if he'll always be 100% forthright with her. Sometimes he gives her certain info, just enough to protect her, but she can't help what she doesn't know. Maurice says that he doesn't think that she can help him. Her picking him up is help enough. He does not know what to expect moving forward. Normally, she might read into situations a little bit too much, and he might think of a situation but won't say it on the outside. At the end of the day, they are there for each other, and she is trusting the process. He says that a lot of people will be disappointed. He has already been convicted in the court of public opinion. He's not going to be able to provide answers on an ongoing court case.
Look, I made sure I wasn't going to interrupt. I wanted to. I turned my mic off.
Okay.
Right? Because I wanted to stay true to my promise. Thank you for reading that for us, Blair.
Yeah.
Watching it again, hearing it again, I noticed body language a lot in this scene.
Okay.
Right? From Kimmy herself, right? After we talked about it just for like a couple of minutes, the word you used was you thought she was what? Angry?
Just irritated.
Irritated, right? I picked up she was trying not to cry, right? Another thing that I picked up from this scene before I let you give your opinion, Blair, was I don't know why, but partnership came in my head and equality, right? Meaning like me and Blair, just in case you don't know, we are married, right? Meaning that she can lean on me as much as I can lean on her, right? So when she's asking him how he's doing and he basically volleyed the question back to her, basically, no, how are you doing? So he could kind of basically be on the defense. You get what I'm saying? And then all I hear when he's talking about everything that Kimmy been through and things like that, and I'm not supposed to be doing this to her, like basically like she's supposed to be able to lean on me. And Kimmy, what I'm hearing from what she was saying is basically like, you don't really tell me everything. You don't treat me as an equal partner in this union, that you don't share with me all the information. I feel like you only share with me the information you want to share with me because you feel like you're protecting me, or I think protecting yourself, in my opinion, right? And I feel like that's where the frustration or maybe the irritation was coming from, because she's trying to be there and he said it out of his mouth. Well, I don't think you can help me.
Yeah.
But you know, thank you for picking me up though.
Yeah.
Like it's almost as if
he's not letting her in.
No. Right? Now, just to be 100% transparent in this, I think his DUI case been dismissed, but the DUI part is the least interesting fact about that's just the vehicle to get us to this scene right here. What was your thoughts on this scene, rewatching it, Blair, watching the notes, watching Kimmy, watching Maurice, and things of that nature?
First thing I want to say, and just preface it by saying that I think men, and this is going to be a generalization.
No, it is.
But I think that men, when it comes to relationships, they don't view their partner as a legitimate 100% partner.
That's fair.
And I do think that men take a lot of the issues they have or concerns or worries they have, and they bottle it up inside of themselves for them to handle at a later date or to not get to it all. So I don't find it alarming the fact that Maurice isn't 100% transparent with Kimmy, even though that's his wife, because men are just kind of programmed. I don't know if it's society or y'all's DNA to where you guys kind of pick and choose what is worth talking about.
Yeah.
Now, when it comes to a situation like this,
no,
I would expect Maurice, if I was Kimmy and his wife in this situation, to be more transparent than he probably is used to being, because there is a court case on the line. I did not know where you were. I was going through a timeline of my head of what you usually do when, you're around the house or things that you do just on a normal, typical day. And everything was off. Just the point that she mentioned, that the whole situation was weird. And not only was it weird that I got a call from you that you were locked up, but the timeline of things, you weren't at work. I couldn't reach you. I don't know how long she couldn't reach him. Was it from the previous night she couldn't reach him? So it does sound like there's a lot of moving parts here that made the entire situation weird, only for it to end up with you in jail. So with that being the end result, I need a little more information than thanks for picking me up. There's a lot of gaps in time here that are just unanswered for when it comes to your wife,
Yeah. It's almost condescending in a way.
Yeah.
Because when she said it, and when you go back to the note, scroll there for me, when she said, I was going through the timeline, in my head, the way I read it, I read it as I was going through the timeline that you gave me. Basically, like, you told me that you was going to do this, you was going to do that, and how did you end up in jail for this based on the timeline that you gave me? Because that led into, I feel like you don't tell me everything.
Okay.
So, like, now, and my only thing is this: I'm not here to talk about, or I'm not here to judge. Well, I am here to judge slightly, right? Only part I'm judging is, how can you sit there and say you can't help me, right? And kind of, in a way, belittle her position as an equal partner in this marriage, right? And use the cancer as an excuse, in my opinion, of, oh, you already been through enough. You don't need to know everything else. Yeah. And I'm like, no. This is the normality of what happened. If I was to get locked up and things of that nature, I'm calling my wife.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because she got to get me out. And then I feel like when he got out, he still wasn't transparent on what happened.
I know. And I'm just like, usually there's a debriefing. I mean, just on a regular night out, there's a debriefing of, oh, what'd y'all do? What y'all get into? Did you have a good time? Like, how is everything going, type of thing. Like, there's a debriefing with your partner after you come out from an event or whatever. And I would imagine there would be a very long, extensive debrief between Kimmy and Maurice after he got out of jail.
Yeah.
And I can respect the fact that maybe they, just wanted to curate the scene a bit because he didn't want to relay too much information on camera. But the way that Kimmy was talking, it sounds like they didn't really have much a debrief session by themselves. If she's talking about him being 100% forthright and him saying, don't worry about it.
It's crazy.
Like, it sounds like they did not get that debrief session that typically occurs. So.
And I'm looking at the notes here, and it says she went through the timeline in her head, right? So she's like, okay, he probably told me he'd be home by this time, or he told me he'd be here. Okay, I went to your job to see where you sleep. You wasn't asleep here. Okay, I'm thinking you at work. You're not at work. You're not at the office. Okay,
and that made me think that maybe that's something that he typically does.
And now your alibi is destroyed for forever now.
Yeah.
Right? So now, like, she's like, that's weird. Right? And now what happens is she's now replaying other situations, not this, other situations be like, I wonder, do you ever be 100% forthright with me?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because sometimes I feel like you don't tell me information to protect me, but really he's protecting himself, right? And then she's like, I can't help what, like, I don't know. Like, I can't help you if you don't tell me. And then his response to that is, I don't think you can help me. What?
But the thing is, I get your response to that, but I feel like that's y'all's reaction to a lot of stuff as men. I think a lot of y'all's... No, if you just let me flesh it out.
Go ahead.
I think that a lot of times that you guys have it on your shoulders that you are the leader of a situation. You are the one who has to make the big decisions.
Yes,
if
you're right.
You know, if you handle relationships in that type of way or whatever, that the man typically takes that onto his shoulders. And even though I agree with you, the fact that you can't just say, no, I don't think you can help me. But I can imagine if he is the one that takes on what he believes to be like the burden of their relationship in life and all this type of stuff, then he feels like he has to be the one to navigate the situation alone. I do think that Maurice could stand to open up his mind a little bit and see how his wife could help him in different situations, because, you know, if you believe in traditional marriage, then your wife is your helpmate. So for him to say that, oh, my job is to make her life easy and all these types of things, that's not quite what the bond of marriage is meant to be, is for you to make her life easy. So my thing is, I get what you're saying, that's wild for him to say, but I think that's a lot of guys' initial knee-jerk reaction. Is that wrong?
No, let me tell you why you're wrong in this situation.
Okay, tell me why.
Because what you're saying is right, but it doesn't fit the situation. Context is everything.
Okay.
He's in trouble. Like if I'm going through financial problems, I probably would lean on my friends before I go to my wife. Is it right? Probably not, but I'll probably be like, you know what, I need to figure something else. Let me brainstorm with my boys. Let me brainstorm with somebody else. If I'm going through a job, if I'm going through like just things outside of me saying I was going to be somewhere and my wife caught me somewhere else.
That's true.
Like dude, like that's something totally different.
Yeah.
So I told my wife, or my wife thinks I'm somewhere, and then she gets a call from me in jail. That is not the time or the position for me to be like, I don't think you can help me, but thanks for picking me up, though.
Yeah.
No,
that it's 100% wild.
That is deflection.
Yeah.
Right.
And please don't take this as me defending Maurice in any type of way.
No.
I'm just trying to navigate from all aspects and angles.
The point you made is 100% factual, actual. I just don't want to leave it at you're wrong. I just don't think it. I just don't. It
doesn't pertain.
To this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I cannot say I'm going to be somewhere.
But I'll tell you this.
Go ahead, help me.
It could probably be hard to be in a situation to where you never had to lean on your wife, and you're in a position to do so, and you just revert back to your old ways. You know,
lean. Let's use another word, because leaning. Let's say answer to.
Oh, okay.
Because I think Maurice is in a position where he has to answer to his wife.
Yeah.
Where were you? Why did you get behind this vehicle however you were? Allegedly.
Yeah.
Dude, you get what I'm saying? See, there's a difference. Now, to your point, us men, we don't like to answer to other people. At that, our wives.
Right.
But if you're in a position where you're calling me, because I already get a feeling how Kimmy is. If you're calling me, right, to basically help you get out of jail, then you got to kind of tell me what happened.
Yes.
Right? But Maurice comes off, in my opinion, as like, it's okay, it's already handled, da-da-da-da-da. But you called me to get you out of jail, and that's why I'm picking that up from him saying, you picking me up was good enough.
Yeah.
No. Leaning on your partner is one thing. Hey, when you do something wrong to your spouse or something like that, or you get caught by your spouse doing something wrong, I'm not leaning on you. You got to answer to me now. You said that you was going to be here, but you wasn't here. Talk.
Yeah.
Dude, you get what I'm saying? And don't use my cancer as an excuse. Don't use what I've been through as an excuse. Don't use your masculinity as an excuse.
I totally agree.
Right? You get what I'm saying? Usually you be at work at this time. So do you be at work at all sleeping? Because I feel like you don't be forthright with me with information. That's the tone I'm getting from Kimmy. Yeah. Right? It's not so much of you don't lean on me, you don't let me help you. I think that's her way, and this is where a lot of people feel like with Kimmy. Kimmy feel like she is very defensive of men, period. You get what I'm saying? That, like, you know how she's like, they feel like she's very defensive of Martell. She's basically like, you know, I hate girls' trips and stuff like that. I want to be with the guys. The guys is more fun. Right?
Martell a nice guy after all the stuff he's
exactly
done.
Craziness. Yeah. And then I just heard that he just got a restraining order put on him again recently. We're not doing a video on that, but I'm just saying, right? I think don't take Kimmy's communication as a way of her basically saying like her saying, I want to help you, is her basically trying to use her feminine energy to try to get him to talk, right? Where really I can see in her body language of, you be lying to me, and I caught you because when I went to the job, you wasn't there. With the timeline, I'm going down the timeline you gave me, you usually be asleep or you be at work, you're not there. So now I'm questioning, do you ever be forthright with me? And his response to that is, I don't think you can help me.
Yeah.
What?
I will say another thing too, talking about his comment about him wanting to, or his job is to make her life easier and lighter. That in itself is not a bad thing at all to say. Like that, you know, should be a thing of trying to help your partner. But I will say when it comes to situations like this, it makes me wonder, are you going along to get along in your relationship and hiding all your dirt in the process just because it's easier for your wife?
Yeah.
Or is it easier for you that you don't have to have certain conversations, you don't have to answer to her in certain ways? So I always am weary of people who want to not want to say have easy relationships, because I think, you know, just be pleasant. Like it's easy to be a pleasant person, but at the cost of being honest and real, then that makes me question how honest you really are.
Yeah, that's facts.
You know,
that's facts, because I can kind of tell, like, she was trying to get a conversation, because of course I agree with you where you said they felt like they had this conversation again, or like they trying to have it in a more concise way. I feel like she was trying to steer the conversation that he would be transparent.
Yeah.
Right? He was trying to steer the conversation to the general public.
Right.
Right? So different motives.
Yeah, and she's talking to her husband. He's talking to the
audience.
Us, yeah.
Right? He's like, you know, I'm already guilty until proven innocent and things like that. People already have an idea of what they think about me for whatever reason. Like, you get what I'm saying? And like, and my whole thing is, why are you trying to do like why are you thinking about us?
Yeah.
Your wife just literally just told you. I wish my wife would tell me, right, that I feel like you don't be 100% honest with me about your whereabouts or information. At that point, I think I call the fellas and be like, she got the drop on us, bruh. She got the drop on us. Because once my alibi is gone, once like I say, yeah, I'm at work, I got work late, and then she actually drives there and I'm not there, oh, it's all over from there.
Yeah.
Because now only thing she gonna be stuck on is where you be. How do you be at work and then decide to go get drinks and then get caught driving? Like
the next day at noon.
It makes no, and that's why she said I was going down the timeline. What is the timeline you gave her? Oh, it didn't match. So do every timeline you give me, is that an honest timeline? Right.
It has you starting to question every single thing. Every single thing.
And that's why I feel like with your example, even though it's actual, this is not leaning or trying to partner with your wife or spouse. He don't like this position because he was 100% wrong. That's what he said. The hardest conversation. He said the hardest thing I had to do. He tried to make it sentimental, but
it's like, I don't want to put Kimmy through this. Like, no, he tried. You was in the wrong.
He tried to make it sentimental, but I can read through it. He said, you know what? He said, you know what was the hardest thing I had to do? And that was call you from jail. I'm like, okay, sure. You know why it was hard? Because how do me being in jail match the timeline I gave my wife? You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, if I'm at work or if I'm where I'm supposed to be or where I told her I was going to be, hey, why is that hard? Hey, if I'm in jail for something that I didn't do, that's not a hard conversation. I can't wait to get on the phone to call my wife. I'll be like, hey, Blair, get so-and-so on the phone. They locked me up. Alabama tripping. You get what I'm saying? But the conversation, the reason why it was hard to call your wife and let her know that you in jail is because when y'all get in that car and y'all going back home and things like that, you don't have to lean on your wife. Now you have to answer to your wife because she gonna have questions. You get what I'm saying?
Good point.
And now I have questions. That's all I got.
Yeah.
Listen here. I felt like a lot of people left a lot of meat on the bone. I'm going to stay tuned into Maurice and Kimmy's storyline because guess what? Many times tonight we criticize them for not having a storyline. I'm not going to criticize them this season.
Yeah.
I'm going to keen in on them and things like that. I've been on Maurice's neck when Kimmy was going through the rehab and things of that nature, trying to get herself back together, and he was basically pressuring her, or maybe not pressuring her, but basically talking about, I want sex, and she's like, I'm trying, but I can't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I will say their dynamic is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because Maurice, how do I say it? I feel like Kimmy, when she was dating Maurice before she got married, on the show or early on in their marriage, she was very straightforward, straight to the point, no nonsense in the way that she communicated. And after she's been in this marriage for a while, I do think that, she has developed a certain way of speaking to him or maybe speaking about him or their situation in order to not come down so hard on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think that she is trying, like, I know people say like, oh, Kimmy's changed and all this type of stuff, but I think she's really trying to figure out like the balancing act as far as being married and supporting her husband and also knowing that he is full of ish sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't look nice to us as the public because we're just like, hey, call him out, say it plain, whatever the case may be. But she's really trying to like straddle this fine line of communicating with him in a way that gets to the point that she's looking for, but he just won't give it up. Like he just refuses to.
And also, and to your point, that's a good observation. Usually when that happens, it's usually like, I don't think she wants to lose her marriage. Now, I'm not saying her marriage is on the brinks of it being lost.
Yeah.
But I think when you go through enough, or when someone puts you through enough in a marriage, and this is not just a Kimmy and Maurice thing, this is just a spouse thing. When someone puts you through enough, you lose parts of yourself in that. And I think outside of Kimmy's sickness, maybe some things happen. Maybe being on this show by itself is stressful enough. You get what I'm saying? You lose parts of yourself when you on the show and you try to be open with your husband. I'm only using, now granted, I'm only using what they show us, so don't be mad at me coming into my comments talking about why are like you saying this, Chris, I'm gonna beat you up. And I'm like, no. I'm gonna use what y'all put on the show. When someone's going through a whole point of recovering from cancer, right, and being transparent about, hey, I don't feel beautiful, all these things, or my libido is low, the medicine do that, and things like that, and then I just wish I would have seen Maurice be more gentle.
Even the comment when he went on to that interview, I think with Carlos King, talking about her taking it and all that type of stuff. It was just, and Kimmy did, address him about that and say that her family was upset for him saying that. It was very crass. It was very inconsiderate. And I still, even though Maurice apologized for it, I can't even remember if he apologized for it really.
I think he kind of did. I think he did, because I think he did.
But I still feel like he doesn't understand the full breadth of,
no, you can't.
You are not being sensitive to where she's coming from. And he's talking about, I need to make her life easier. I have to be, make her life lighter and all these types of things, but you're demanding this one thing out of her that is difficult for her to provide at this time.
Come on, Blair.
It just
it don't match.
It don't match. It's very it's
self-serving.
It's very self-serving.
That's why I don't believe that you say my job is to make her life easier, because we seen the seasons. We reviewed it. Check us out. Check out the playlist of previous seasons. So the whole thing about taking it and things like that, no matter, put it like this, at the end of the day, when this camera's on, when their camera is on, you can try to put on a facade as much as possible. It's gonna come up out of you.
Yeah.
What's in you gonna come up out of you. So put it like this: what he said, that would have never came out of me, because you know what? It's not in me.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, Maurice, I know what you portray yourself as, or what you think you portray yourself as Melody accused you of being this Martin Luther King person and things like that, someone that is good in the community, and all that can be true. I'm not here to tear that down.
Right.
Right? All I'm here to say is, we don't believe you. You need more people. Okay?
There's a big question mark over a
100%.
lot of things. And
we don't believe you.
And
you need
I'm
more
curious
people.
to know what the truth is, but I doubt we'll ever get the full story,
Oh.
because Maurice would have to tell it. And
Listen
he's
here.
not going to tell Kimmy. He
I'm
ain't going to
not-
tell us.
I'm not here to wonder what the truth is. I'm just here to tell you that was a lie.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do better. You can't fool us.
Okay.
Okay? Anything else, Blair?
That's all I got.
Comments. I need comments on this video. I need to know what y'all thought about this, because go back and rewatch it if you have to. It was a very telling conversation. Look at Kimmy's body language. Look at his body language. And I could kind of recognize where Maurice is coming from. That's why I'm 100% confident in my position, because I've seen this before.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So let me know what y'all think. And we be back this weekend with Love and Marriage Huntsville for the next episode and things like that. Look out for Married at First Sight. That's coming out tomorrow with us. And if y'all don't see us after this video, happy Thanksgiving to y'all,
Yeah.
to people who celebrate it and things of that nature.
Yes.
Anything else?
That's all I got.
Y'all be good.
Bye.